Okay, it is it is hot as balls right now. So yeah, I'm going to try to make this a little bit quick. But I think I have cracked the case on who Von Walton Files is. Now, you might be thinking, Cora, who is Von Walton Files? What is the Walton Files? And that, I may say, find out yourself. Watch the show. I'm not gonna give you a recap. This is for the Walton fans. So yeah. So I'd be thinking, how did you crack the case? How could you be so sure? How could you be so sure of your Von Walton Files theory? Because looking through all the evidence, I think it makes the most sense. It has a lot of evidence pointing towards it. Enough evidence that it made its way into the wiki. I'm so proud of that. I posted it in the Discord server and someone immediately put it in the official Walton Files wiki. And I was like, that's so fire. My theory is really that good. Well, I don't want to give myself too much credit. But I think it's pretty good. I think if you hear me out, I think you'll probably see where I'm coming from. Oh, maybe this will gain more traction. Because right now it's only on the wiki. I don't really see many people discussing it. Probably because it's only really been there and on the Discord once. But I think if more people hear me out, I think it could be good. Okay, my theory is that Bon, the quotations Bon, is his backstory is that he was killed or died in some way as a child, and then created, and then at some point he created Wonderland. He grew up and created Wonderland and then started killing, Susan, frickin' Charles, Rosemary. Started killing all those guys to create a family. To create the family that he had lost. Either by dying himself or just or all his family dying. I don't really know the specifics on how he would have died. I could take some context clues, but there's not really enough information for that. So yeah. Basically the gist is Bon died as a child, grew up as a ghost. Somewhere along the way, he had the plan to create Wonderland and build his own family, and then he used the Walton family and Susan and Charles, of which we'll get to why they're included later. And they used them as They put them in the Bond animatronics. The Bond animatronics. Bond 1, Bond 2. No, the Bond's Burgers animatronics to like make their own little family. Now, what is my evidence for this? What is my evidence? First key evidence, and I think it's the strongest point of evidence in a Q&A. Martin Walls, or Martin Paredes. I'm gonna call him Martin Paredes. Martin Paredes is like, someone asks him, can people age in Wonderland? And then he answers, can't answer that. That's mighty suspicious. That shouldn't matter, should it? In what point would anyone age in Wonderland? Maybe Ed and Molly. Maybe they age in Wonderland. Who knows? Who knows? But it seems pretty important. Seems pretty important. Pretty suspicious that he did not give us a straight answer. Now it doesn't. And that's not the only piece of evidence. Another piece of evidence is just how Bond in Wonderland is like set up, you know? Like Wonderland, if you know what Wonderland like originally looked like, it is stated, at least by the wiki, that it was made to resemble a child's drawing. Now, why would Wonderland be made to resemble a child's drawing? Let me think. And also, Bond in the new rendition of Wonderland, Bond kind of blends in. You know, he like everyone else is like, well, at least Susan is. We don't see a lot. I'm doing this before Vault and Files 5, and it will come out before Vault and Files 5, this video. So we don't know a lot, but my working theory is that, people in Wonderland look like how they looked like when they died. So, Susan has, like, her neck is snapped, and, she's like a little bloody, and then Ed and Molly, since they were in a very bloody car accident, are covered in blood. Just covered. And that's why they are the red children. Bond is completely white. He's absolutely, unquestionably, yuck, white. He's absolutely and, he does have signs on how he died. He has a big bullet wound on his head, so I assume that's probably how he died. But he also has like a bunch of scratches on his face. There's like a big scar. Bond must have been fucked up as a kid. Damn. And freaking. And then they find. But Bond is not gray like Susan. Bond is not gray at all, actually. Bond is almost completely white. And I find that a little interesting. Bond blends into Wonderland. And Bond also seems to have control over Wonderland that no one else seems to have. Or at least we don't see anyone else have. He supposedly... Okay. We don't know this. I guess this might also just be part of my theory. I believe he is the one who brings Bond's Burgers and, like, the church to Wonderland. Maybe to make them feel more at home. I'm not sure. Hear me out. Hear me out, though. Hear me out. Okay. So let's break down this theory piece by piece. It's kind of like losing me because it's really hot and I'm like losing my track of mind. So first, evidence of Bond being a child. There was the whole like Q&A thing, but there's also the baby doll. The baby doll is a big component in this theory, and I'll tell you why. We don't yet know what the baby doll's thing is. You know what I mean by the baby doll. I hope. The porcelain baby doll that mostly appears in like Hotline, it appears in Souvenir, it appears at the beginning of What One Files 4, and it's like, what is this doll's deal? What is this doll's deal? In the Hotline, the doll is at the end of Hotline. The doll seems to be possessed. The doll is like looking at you like this, and it's like, see you soon, which is a very Bond thing to say. I assume this is another assumption, but like it's pretty much an assumption everyone has, that the voice at the end of Lucky You, the one with the red text, is Bond. And in that one, Bond says, "I'll see you soon, Sophie." And it also makes sense because we know Bond is going after Sophie. That's mainly the reason he killed Ashley and Brian, because like, oh, that looks like Susie. That looks like Sophie. Have I been saying Susie? But I meant Sophie. If I was saying Susie, that would have sounded really stupid. Okay. But like, yeah, going after Sophie. So yeah, plus Sophie and Ed and Molly both also have dolls. So if Bond died no. There may be a theme going on here about losing your innocence, because Ed and Molly died in the car crash, so that's losing their innocence by losing their life. And Sophie, well, we can only know how fucked up Sophie is, because like losing your entire family and supposedly whatever made her take the pills, of which may or may not be related. Yeah, that's gonna mess with your head, so that's kind of like a loss of her innocence too. So if Bond is also a child who died and lost their innocence, it would also make sense that they would have a doll corresponding to them, because Ed and Molly have Rocket and Sophie has Mr. Cell. It's how it goes. They lose their innocence and they have a doll. Interesting. Now, I don't know how episode 5 is gonna go with the doll. I'm thinking it might have some semblance, because I think it may have been in the script. But I do think the doll is specifically connected to Bond. Now with the with the Bond growing up theory, Bond in the Walton Files 4 says a very suspicious line. He says, I gotta think of the line. The soul doesn't pass on quite as fast as the body does. Or the spirit doesn't pass on quite as fast as the body does. And I would know. That's what he says. He says, I would know, as if it specifically applies to him. If he died as a child and he's been growing up to this old freak that he is that he is now, yeah, his spirit would have been alive pretty long. He would specifically know. And I guess this next piece of evidence could be very flexible, so it isn't exactly evidence for just this. But he also says, I know you're scared, I was too. Implying he has been in this situation kind of before. Of which, obviously, could, like, be interpreted in many different ways, but it still works with this theory, so I wanted to point it out. I've already said the evidence for why Wonderland would be Bond's. He just kind of like meshes in. He kind of like he blends in. And original Wonderland did look like a child's drawing. So I'm thinking there's something there. And if he's going after to make his own family, that would also explain why it's called Wonderland, because it's his own Wonderland. Obviously, it's not their Wonderland, so it would have to be his Wonderland, right? Just saying. And now we get on to the last part of the theory. Creating his family. What is my evidence for this? So, the Bond's Burgers animatronics, and of course the Walton family plus Susan and Charles, we'll get to that. They're all kind of a family. But they're all two separate families. Billy ain't related to Charles. But like, yeah. They're both kind of like considered their own families. And we know Bond has been spying on these goobers. And assuming they have been, it would explain why he's going after Susan and Charles, because don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that Ed and Molly consider, or the family as a whole consider, Susan and Charles as more like an aunt and uncle, because they're like business partners. So that could be why Bond goes after them. Because he sees them as like part of the family, you know? He sees them as part of the family. He's like spying on them. And it's like, oh, these guys are a whole family. I want a family. I'm gonna make you all ghosts like me. I'm gonna make you all ghosts. And perhaps he sees like the animatronics, all these characters as like his own family. Well, not like that, but like their own family. Even though they're just objects. But like, maybe he's like, this is my way to get a family again. We can all be ghosts and possess these animatronics and these objects. So we can all kind of be like a big ol' happy family. We're all like equals. Because I don't think he was expecting, I don't think in this situation he would have expected like, oh, they're gonna accept me, accept this random fucker, this random fucking ghost into the family. Like, no. So yeah, I think that's his whole thing with like making people beautiful and like stuffing them into suits, into the animatronic suits, because like he's making his own family. And there is some things to point out about those. In one of the Bond's Burgers commercials, Felix says, "Let's bring your family together the right way. The Bond's Burgers way." Now tell me that doesn't sound like foreshadowing. Just saying. Just saying. Don't tell me that doesn't sound like foreshadowing. There was other things to this theory. But it's pretty good so far, right? Like, it ties everything together. It makes a lot of sense. There isn't a lot of like loose ends. There is one loose end on the wiki that the wiki pointed out. The Victor Evans thing, the one where he's like, "Oh, I found Wonderland," and "Oh, I found Wonderland in 1940," and there was like no connections to like child and family. I feel like that could be kind of brushed off. Like, it could still be the case, like he found Wonderland. Like, I don't think exactly, like, that is kind of an odd point of contention, but like, I think it could still work. I think it could still work very well. But yeah, some other miscellaneous points of evidence. I forgot to bring this one up earlier. Bond seems to not have much of an identity, of which would make sense if he died a child, because he wouldn't have not had much time to build one. This is evidenced by the fact that his name is Bond. Actually, I feel like that's another piece of evidence that his name is Bond. Because, like, he's using the animatronics to, like, make his family. So this is, like, he's kind of, like, LARPing. Not like the way we use a LARP now, but, like, literally a live-action role-playing fucking the animatronics. He's like, "I'm Bond. I'm Bond, and you're gonna be Banny, Susan. You're soon gonna be Banny." So, like, yeah, that's also how that kind of works. And I think this wasn't in my original thing, but like, there was a piece of evidence from Find Jack Walton that was like about a child dying and possessing a doll. I don't think Bond is that character. I do not believe that to be so. If it was, I think it would be cool, but like, I don't think it is. It might be, it probably would be an analog to Bond, but like, also probably is not actually the Bond. So like, yeah. Any other pieces of evidence? Like any specific pieces of evidence that I missed? Not particularly. Oh, yeah. I don't know how much this holds up, but I feel like Bond has some, like, childlike mannerisms. Or at least some kind of childlike mannerisms. He's kind of a giggly lad. He, like, giggles a lot. He's, like, he's a chuckler. He's a chuckler. And also, he's kind of like a playful guy. He's like, shh, and he's like, he's always doing some goofy thing with his hands. He's always going like, ooh, my creation, my wonderful creation. Or like going like, ooh, put this on the string. Ooh. And then he like walks away like this. That was from like Souvenir. But like, yeah. It's not much like that. It would also explain that. But yeah, if you think of it like thematically and like look at all the small pieces of evidence, it's pretty foolproof, right? And it would make a lot of sense. Make a lot of sense like thematically in the show. Make a lot of sense. Let's see how Walton Files 5 changes this. I might have a different outlook, but I think right now this theory is pretty good. I want you to type in the comments what you think, maybe your own Bond theories. Maybe if you have more evidence for this Bond theory, I might need some. Or you have rebuttals to my theory. I would like to hear some. So, yeah. Let us hear it. Let us hear it. Okay. That should be it on Get Up because I'm getting kind of sweaty and I don't like it. So, yeah. See ya. See you on July 31st. Oh my god, I can't wait. I've been waiting so long. Oh my god. Bye-bye. I might make a follow-up video if there's more evidence. Or if there's less evidence, I might make a follow-up video. Or just a community post app. I don't really want to make another video. Well, in general, I might make some more videos, but I don't know. I only really make them when I want to make them, so yeah. Boop.